Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to the very first edition of LOL.
Yes, we just came up with it, and I love the acronym because it stands for Lupus Out Loud.
And it's perfect because, you know what, when the flare hits, you got to laugh.
You have to. You have to laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah.
If we're really being real about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep it real.
We're going to be very real about it.
Absolutely.
Yes. So who you're hearing, I'm Anne-Marie Blacketer, and I work with the Lupus Foundation here at the Texas Gulf Coast. And the other voice in the room?
Floydreka Ray. You can call me Dreka. And I am a lupus survivor, lupus warrior, and you're going to be hearing a lot of my voice.
Yeah, she is amazing. And as we've worked these last couple of 4 years that I've had the honor of serving with the group, we've really seen a lot of change in the programs and the reach we're doing in the community.
Absolutely.
And I think there's an important piece that we don't talk about enough. And that's how lupus can be within your family.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And when you're having those conversations about health, how many times do we talk about what Grandpa really died from?
Exactly.
Was it just kidney failure, or was there something else going on?
Exactly. Oh, gosh, yes.
Right?
Yes,
or
absolutely.
Was our auntie really that lazy, or was there something else going on? Because
the lazy accusations. Oh gosh, my fellow lupus warriors, you know about it.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
While I don't have lupus, I have the great joy of having other stuff go wrong in my body. But Ms. Draco, you do.
Yes, I do.
And when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed at the young age of 11 years old. So now I am 33. So that is over 20 years, right? Yes. That's over 20 years of living with lupus.
And I can tell you she doesn't look sick.
Yes.
So,
listen, I am a teacher, and I always said everybody has their Mount Everest, especially with lupus. Everybody has a different mountain to climb. And then even with everybody, your mountains are different every day. And so my mountain today is I have a headache. I have one of my lupus headaches today. But here I am.
You know, we tease because we say, "Oh, you look great. You don't look sick."
Exactly.
And we tease, except we know that lupus patients, lupus warriors, and guys, tell us how you want us to address you.
Yes, please.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing when your friends and family are looking at you like, what's wrong with you? You were fine yesterday.
Absolutely.
Why are you not fine today?
Exactly.
And I think that's a real obstacle for a lupus warrior to feel that they can participate in the conversation about health.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Do people want to hear all the time, it's another crummy day?
Yes.
I think that's a lot of it.
Yes.
So, diagnosed at 11.
Yes.
And your mom was with you, I presume?
Yes. So I was with both of my parents. And so it happened at 5th grade. I was always a very healthy child, loved food. It started with the red eyes.
That must be why we get along, because
yes,
I love food.
I
do.
I love food.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So the red eye.
The red eyes. Then it was my dad had 5 bypasses. He had 8 clogged arteries. Max they could do is 5.
Gosh.
And I was the person, and I'm still learning this today, I suppress my emotions. So I saw that happen in front of me. He gets out the hospital, long recovery, as you already know. And then my mom is on the bathroom floor, not long after. This is within the span of months. So then she's rushed to the hospital for issues with her gallbladder. And I'm suppressing it. And I was a grade hoard. So this is for my kids. I loved, I needed A's. B's wouldn't do. I needed A's. And then on top of that, my world is crumbling around me, and I'm trying to suppress it. And so when my mom gets out the hospital, that's when the red eyes are coming. And then that's when my joints are locking up. We were at a Rockets game, and it was time to leave, and I could not move.
Oh, my.
A church member, had to pick me up out the seat and carry me out. Well, then I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. We all know the lovely, fun journey on the road to getting diagnosed with lupus. And I never forget the day after I graduated from 5th grade. They asked me what I wanted to eat, still with those symptoms going on. I said Italian food because I love spaghetti. Fun fact. Very simple, but it pleases me. It's my thing. And
I like it cold the next day.
Cold.
Then it's my favorite.
Anne-Marie.
I know, because then the sauce has all seeped into the noodles. Oh, it's so good.
That's heartburn waiting to happen. Like, what is going
That is
on?
true. That is absolutely true. Yes, I agree. But it was so good on the way in.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to keep it in mind. And it's crazy because I'm craving spaghetti right now. But we went to an Italian restaurant, and I was actually talking to my mom about it. I said, tell me about that day. She said, you just stared at the food. And then you asked to go to the restroom. She said, I told her the smell of food just nauseated me.
Oh, no.
This is 11 years old, and that was very uncommon. I always loved to eat. And then that's when I went down. After the day I graduated, I went down fast. It was the non-eating. It was sleeping 22 hours out of the day.
Oh, gosh.
A trip to the restroom, I was out of commission.
Mm-hmm.
Numerous doctor visits, questions. We had more questions and answers at that point. Still 11 years old. This is the summer before I start 6th grade.
So this has been going on for months now.
This has been going on for months, just the diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember my mom tells me that we went to the doctor, my pediatrician at the time, which is a TSU alum, Dr. Sherry Mitchell. She asked me, do you think you're about to die? And I said, I don't know. She said, well, you're not. We don't know what it is, but we're going to find answers. Because she had taken care of me my whole life.
Okay, say her name again.
Sherry Mitchell.
That's amazing.
Yes. She said, well, you're not. We're going to find out what's going on. And they tested me for lymphoma because my lymph nodes were swollen.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they tested me for Sjogren's, which is another BFF of lupus. We have many BFFs. But the results for lymphoma came back negative. But then by the time the results came back, I was full bloom flare, like joints locked up, skin and bones. My mother is 5'2". She picked me up like I was a baby. Oh. And I had the malar butterfly rash. And you know who saw me, my first appointment, to tell me about my results from that? Dr. Marietta de Guzman, who still works
still at TCH.
Exactly.
Yes.
She was like, I remember I laid down because she was about to go over the results. I sat up. That morning I had cranberry juice. We forgot I had cranberry juice. It came out.
I bet it did.
And then I'm like, oh, gosh. And I go, oh, wait, no, she had cranberry juice. And she said she has lupus. My mom freaks out because the only thing she knew about lupus is that she lost 2 people to it. So Dr. de Guzman, I remember this vividly. Dr. de Guzman said, if this had been years ago, we would have told you to take her home and make her comfortable. But we have come, and this was 2003, I think, at the time, but we've come a long way. So that is not going to be the case. We're going to get her admitted. So I was admitted immediately into Texas Children's Hospital. I went in that Tuesday. I was diagnosed June 25th. I always celebrate on that day. And then after June 25th, I stayed, I think, about 6 days until they could regulate me. Yeah. And then once I left the hospital, that's when I started the 16 pills a day, chemo, and then the fun journey, you know, of learning what I can and can't handle and different things like that.
And the really hard part. Okay, so huge shout out to Dr. de Guzman.
Yes,
we love her. We love her still.
Love her so much.
We love her still, and her team, and Martha and Nikisha, and we love you all. And we know the hard work that she's doing in her clinics across our territory. So, but what's so incredible to remember is that your diagnosis was really fast.
Yes.
And that's terrifying because it was fast because you were 11.
Yes.
And no 11-year-old should be going through stiff joint pain and lymph node swelling. So clearly something is wrong. But even in that case, you're still getting a diagnosis within 4 or 5 months, which is a little silly that it would still take that long.
Yes, yes.
Right? And that's one of the really hard things with diagnosing lupus is for the adults. You know, I complain about joint pain. I can't get up. If that couch is too low, I'm down. But you know, my husband calls it a come along, which I guess is a country thing for somebody pulling me up.
That's funny.
You know, it's tough. But you know, if you have lupus and you have joint pain, They're not looking at you and saying, what if it's lupus?
Yes.
And that's really the question we want people to ask, because in your story, I heard you say your mom lost 2 sisters to lupus?
One was a friend, and I think it was a family member that she lost to lupus. So the only thing she had associated with lupus was death. Mm-hmm. So when Dr. de Guzman is telling her, oh, she has lupus, it's like, oh, she's about to die. That's what's about to happen now.
And that's scary. But
yes.
That's the thing. Lupus can run in your family.
See, yes.
And so when we are talking about our family health, you know, I mean, you go to the physician's office and if you remember the little forms, it's, you know, you have family history of this or this or this, and you feel like it's forever, and it's like 2 pages of stuff. I know some of the places, like Kelsey-Seybold now has lupus on there. Some places have autoimmune. But we need to bring that forward.
Yes, absolutely.
And absolutely talk about that within the family dynamic as well, so that you understand this is what's happened in my family, so I may be susceptible
exactly
to it. You know, so you get your diagnosis. How was your mom?
Yes,
with all this. Once she figured out, I'm sure Dr. de Guzman was very lovely in saying she's gonna be fine.
Yes, yes. Right? It's funny, when we talked about it last night, she said, I had to be calm because your dad didn't have the best understanding. And so he's like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? She has lupus. She's calm. And I remember a couple of months after my diagnosis, we played a game. And it was late one night, and she said, if you could have anything in the world, what would you wish? And I said, I don't know, you go. I was very tired. And she said, well, if I could wish anything, I would wish you never had lupus. And I was quiet. And then she looked over, and she said, are you awake over there? I said, I'm awake. And she says, well, what do you think about my wish? Isn't that a cool wish? I said, it is. But I said, for whatever reason, this is what has been assigned to me. And so here I am. Over 20 years later, because I didn't know that 20 years later I would be 33 years old, and now here I am sitting with the CEO,
guilty,
of the Lupus Foundation Gulf Coast, which I dare say is the best coast. Gulf Coast is the best.
Gulf Coast is the best
Gulf
coast.
Coast is the best.
Absolutely,
coast.
no more
of
third
the
coast
Lupus
for
Foundation,
us.
sharing my story. And so she has been my rock through it all. Like, she supports me. She was a bigger educator than I was. The second she was diagnosed, she was on the internet researching. I'm going to look into this. Okay, explains why you're feeling this. We're going to talk about this when we go to Dr. de Guzman next time. Here's everything I printed out. I want to talk to her about this. Is this true? Is this true? Like, she really did a deep dive into it to make sure that she was knowledgeable and she could support me in the best ways possible. So she's way better.
And that's an amazing advocate to have in your corner.
Absolutely.
And I wonder if that's why you're in turn becoming such a great advocate for others, especially the youngers that have a lupus diagnosis.
Yes, absolutely.
Because as we look at what things look like, what we know is there's actually more people with lupus than what we thought.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. That is so true.
And so we have, with Lupus Texas Gulf Coast, we're very fortunate to get a lot of help and support to have Camp for All and send our lupus kids to camp. And that was a hoot and a half. And so we're doing that again this year.
Yes.
And one of the things that really it shone such a great light, Dr. Bray with UT, who's our camp director for it. So, hey, Dr. Bray. And I brought out just these goofy things that we had for Beat Lupus.
Okay.
And they are blow-up punching bags.
Oh.
Do you remember the ones you used to punch and it would bounce back?
And then it would bounce back? Yes. Oh, my gosh.
So fun. And so we had those, and we had some blow-up bats to be able to hit things.
Where was I?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I was there. I may have instigated. For those people that know me, I instigated. But what we've discovered really quick is the kids were just so happy to have a normal kid experience.
Exactly.
They ran off and had a great time. And Dr. Bray, who was like, I don't know if we really need those, Anne Marie. now for this year, she's like, those have to come back.
I'm going first. I'm the biggest kid ever. I have to go first because that is the most amazing idea.
I love those things. I mean, I had one when I was a little kid, and it helped me regulate when I was frustrated. But I think what's really important is these kids don't really have someone to talk to about what's going on with them, even if it's just, I'm having a normal day.
Exactly.
You know, and so what we're working to here, folks, is Ms. Dreka is going to be the host of her own podcast.
Yay!
And really bringing her experience as a lupus warrior kiddo into the forefront and reminding kids, I think most importantly of all, is that you're going to have a bad day.
Yes.
But here you are 20 years later.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're going to work?
Going to work as a teacher. Which is already.
And she is popping her purple today. You can't see her,
absolutely.
But she's popping her purple.
Yes, I am. Every chance I get.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think that's a really good thing for you to be able to advocate in return for the young people who may have to do those odd things like, all of a sudden I have to cancel going to the movies with my friends, or all of a sudden I can't go to this, you know, dance or bonfire or what have you. Did you experience those kinds of things?
Absolutely. And I'm still navigating that as an adult, making sure I have friends around that understand my no is no. I'm not funny acting. I'm tired, like, you know. And so as a kid, especially like I was talking to one of the Lupus Warriors. First of all, we have to talk about all of the events the Gulf Coast chapter has put on just to bring lupus kids together to just talk with each other. We have been to the Space City Cowboys?
We did Space City Cowboys. Shout out to Brandon who helped make that happen.
We have done, we looked at the stars. We were on top of the museum of natural science. Stargazing.
Yep.
Like, we've had amazing events.
And we did Lone Star Flight Museum.
Yes.
That was, okay, they have a scavenger hunt in it. Guys, I got to tell you, I got beat by one of the littles.
Anne-Marie.
But I didn't see the one on the ground. But it's so much fun. But what's been really amazing is to see the kids just be able to be around people.
Yes.
And if they get tired,
exactly.
they don't have to explain it.
So, like, I was talking to one of the kids at the stargazing event, beautiful event. And I stayed past, even when they left, like, I was just amazed. And we were talking about PE. And this is something that most kids don't think about, they look forward to. And I was telling him, I said, you know, when I was in middle school, I couldn't even do PE because of the sun exposure. And that was a whole mess. And my mom is a firecracker, y'all, because I tried to tell the PE teacher at the time, and she was not having it. She thought I was making an excuse.
Oh, of course.
And so she tried to put me out in the sun.
Oh, no.
Yes, exactly. So she came up to the school, and she already worked for the district. And then you're putting her in the sun.
Yeah, no.
And so we related, me and the kid I was talking to related to the fact that we both cannot handle PE. He said, I do office work. I said, that's what I did. I was like a little secretary in there running errands and things like that. So he felt normal in that moment. Like, oh, okay, well, I don't feel like such an oddball.
Right. And that's a super important thing for the kiddos.
Exactly.
For you to be a guiding light. That it's not, it is kind of a bummer. Yeah. You know, it's kind of a bummer. And if your friends don't really get it and they give you a hard time, then it's hard to tell a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old, well, they're not really your friends anyway. And yet the truth is, they're not really your friends.
They're really not.
If they're not being kind and understanding that you do have a disability that is called lupus. Yes. And just because it's invisible to them doesn't mean it's any less impactful to you.
Exactly.
So I think I'm most excited about you working with the kids and the young I don't want to call them all kids because there are kids.
Yes, absolutely.
There are kids, but then we have some young adults that are, you know, and coming into this season and, oh my gosh, high school. I can't even imagine high school was miserable for me. And so, but this isn't my therapy session. So we'll just skip that. But when you know how kids can be when you're different, and you want to be different, you want to be unique and be yourself, but you also want to fit in.
Exactly.
And when all of a sudden you can't go to something because, I know we have one young woman who was diagnosed when she was, I think, 12.
Okay.
And she was all set to go to homecoming or prom. I can't recall right now which one, but I know if she's listening, she'll send me a note and update me and remind me. But it was really hard to all of a sudden just can't. And it's not, I don't want to go, because you do want to go.
Yes, yes.
But how do you get your body to move when your body says no?
Yes.
And it's not a mental block. It's physically and for when I try to explain to people on behalf of lupus patients and warriors, it's like sleeping all day and not getting a bit of rest.
Yes.
And so when you try to move, your body is actually not responding to the request.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just put one leg out the sheets, put the next leg out the sheets. No, you don't understand.
It's not like that.
Because trying to move the toe to not hurt when it gets out from under the sheet, and your body is telling you no.
Yes.
And you don't really get a choice, do you? When the body says we're down.
You don't.
You're down.
You're down. Exactly.
And
exactly.
so
I understand that. Yes.
The key thing is to manage. And that's why we kind of are looking at this as, LOL with lupus, living out loud with lupus, because the key is to manage your lupus in a way that we can avoid moving into those flares whenever possible.
Yes.
The 50 SPF.
Yes.
And
every day. Every day. It's part of the skincare routine. I have to. It's a non-negotiable.
Because even riding in your car to drive to work is, unless your windows have UV protection in them.
And they don't.
Which they don't. And so we have to, we have to know what those are.
Exactly.
But how do we know what they are if we're not talking and sharing with each other? This is what works for me, and this is what works for me. And having that information.
That community is so important. Absolutely. Yes. That community is so important.
So I think what would be really fun is we have some programs coming up with Lupus.
Okay. With
Lupus Texas that talk about specifically some new information that's available. So this month our focus is on clinical trials. Excuse me. And on clinical trials, I know a lot of people are nervous about doing clinical trials. Because we shouldn't say and. We also know that if people don't participate, then drugs will not be available for that specific group. And so if you're not aware, Benlysta now, which is an injection,
yes, I did hear about
is available for kids.
Oh, wow.
And there's an age limit. I'm not a physician, so I'm not going to get into all that. There's an age limit, but now they can get an infusion of the Benlysta because some families were brave enough to go through the clinical trial. And now some of these younger folks with lupus have access to these newer medicines as a result. So we're really excited about that.
That is amazing, yes.
And we'll talk later in the month. I think on the 18th, we're going to talk about what clinical trials really do and why we shouldn't be afraid.
Yeah.
And then next month, we get to talk about nutrition. And hot Cheetos.
Absolutely. And as you already have learned, we both love food.
But yes. I'm thinking about what I'm going to pick up for dinner on the way home.
I was thinking about that on the way.
It's, we know that cold spaghetti and not the meatball kind.
Okay.
No,
just sauce.
You can bake it too. Sometimes it's just as good baked. But when you're looking at what you're going to eat, does your lupus come into play?
And most don't. And I think I just received an email from the Gulf Coast chapter, and I think they kind of did a little article about that.
I think we did.
Yes.
Because sometimes, your body with lupus is attacking itself, and the immune system is hyperactive. And then we go to the grocery store, and the yummy stuff is in the middle aisle.
Exactly.
With all the processed foods.
Exactly.
And fructose corn syrup and high sugars and salty potato chips. Yeah. All that stuff in the center that is not necessarily all food.
Exactly.
Right? Because we're adding things to it to make it to make it kind of shelf stable and all those things.
Okay, yeah.
So when we talk, I use Flamin' Cheetos. You mentioned the other one is...
It's Bodak noodles. I know the kiddos will understand that, but it's a trend. And since I'm a teacher, that's all they talk about. And it is insanely hot. And the sodium level, I don't even want to touch on it.
Oh, no.
But I really, when I tell them, like, hey, like, these are, my students don't even have lupus. And this is what you're consuming. And I'm telling you, you shouldn't be eating it. And imagine somebody with an autoimmune disease eating so many inflammatory foods.
Oh.
It's like,
to me, it's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly.
And we hear from caregiver parents, right? Warrior moms,
yes,
who are like, I can't get my kid to stop eating these flaming Cheetos or these Takis. And I'm like, well, you could not buy them.
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
When I was first diagnosed, my mom was so happy that I was eating because I had dropped all the weight. Mm-hmm. And of course I was on steroids, so I craved salt. Oh, yeah. So she said, what do you want to eat? I said, McDonald's. What do you want to eat? Popeyes. What do you want to eat? Frenchy chicken. What do you want to eat? Like, I'm consuming it. Mm-hmm. I wake up not too long after eating all these foods, and she says, I said, my head hurts. She said, let's take your blood pressure, because she had purchased it. It was 179, I think over 130 something.
Oh.
So my mom was like, okay.
And you were how old?
I was 11.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
11, 12. And she said, okay, get your things. We're going to the hospital. Everything's fine. And they put something underneath my tongue. I went to Texas Children's, and I was that close to having a stroke just because of the highly processed, all of that food I was eating. High salt, highly processed. Yeah. But she was so excited I was eating. Little did we know I was killing myself.
Yeah. And that Popeye's spicy chicken is good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
But it's so bad.
But it's so bad. And so, with that, it's like a little bit.
A little bit.
Moderation. Jinx. Yeah. So, I think there's so much that we can talk about in living out loud with lupus, yes. Right? And really being present and understanding that this doesn't have to be the defining thing of your life.
It doesn't.
It's something you have.
Exactly.
It's something you can thrive with, you can live with, you can become an advocate.
Absolutely.
You can be an ambassador. You can teach other people. Because I think in our communities, I really do believe, and this is an Anne Marie opinion, yes. that lupus is far more prevalent than we understand because we're not talking about it.
We're not talking about it. We aren't.
Yeah. And I think we really need to be open and talk about it. Like they say, when you tell people you love them, make it weird.
Yes.
Just talk about it and make sure that if somebody is, when I see a mylar rash.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, how are you doing? They're like, oh, I'm fine. Why? And I'm like, do you have lupus? No. Why? Why would you say, oh, nothing.
Nothing. Right.
Let me just give you some information to share with your family.
Absolutely.
And they look at it. It's like, oh, my mom died from lupus.
Oh, yeah.
And my question is, have you ever been tested?
Yes.
No. Why? Oh, because it can run in a family.
Absolutely,
and then finding out that not only does she might have it, her brother probably has it. And he's been in and out of the hospital for 9 months with no diagnosis.
Wow.
And so now we're getting that person into testing, and we're getting these and it's by just a conversation.
Yes.
So I think we can have some fun with the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Don't have me on all the time because I hog up all the airspace. So, just really, I think what we can do is like next time you're going to hear Miss Dreka.
Yes.
And we'll have some maybe it'll be about nutrition. Maybe it'll be a little bit about why you shouldn't eat those wonderful flaming hot Cheetos at 7:30 in the morning.
Absolutely. Can we talk about, okay, I won't go on a tangent, but yes, conversations will be had, laughs, because of course you have to laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah.
Which is why the title of the podcast, Living Out Loud with Lupus, is so fitting. Find joy. Yeah. Find joy.
Lupus out loud, I think.
Lupus out loud.
Lupus out
Lupus
loud.
out loud.
Yeah.
Lupus out loud.
So it's LOL.
LOL. Lupus out loud.
Yep.
And so with the podcast, I really feel like these conversations is going to foster community, and we're going to have some fun.
We're going to have some fun.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely. And then we're going to go to camp.
Yes, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to hog up all the airtime talking about camp, but not today.
So until next time, I'm Anne Marie with Lupus Texas Gulf Coast.
I'm Floydreka Ray.
And we will see you next time on Lupus Out Loud.
Lupus Out Loud. Bye.